Well, this is definitely not one you see all the time. We're down here at Boynton, and we've got not only one and not two, but three people stuck on the dock blocker as they were trying to come back in. And speaking of not seeing things often, it's actually been a while since we've seen this. Probably one of the first times we ever came down here and filmed at the Boynton boat ramp, we caught this crew bringing this thing down and launching it. But it's been a few years now since we've seen this down here. But welcome back, crew, to the greatest show on earth, and that is the Miami Boat Ramps channel. I'm your host, Broncos Guru, and today we are down here visiting Boynton Beach. And if you guys don't know what this is, well, I don't want to call it like a ghetto pontoon because that's not accurate, but somebody took a picnic table, took some foam, an outboard motor, and made themselves their own version of a boat or a floating picnic table or a ghetto pontoon. I don't know what you want to really call it, but it's still interesting to look at. And this crew comes out, they'll take it out to the sandbar and have a good time with it. And I mean, it's kind of like a Boston Whaler. I mean, with the foam, it's kind of unsinkable, I would guess. And I'm betting this crew wishes they had the draft of our ghetto pontoon, because they are stuck, and husband's been trying to get them off for a while now with very little success. And it's been a hard one because he's trying to do it by himself. They can't do it with the power of the motor while he's in the water, but wifey's like not getting in to help push either. Don't blame her. But the wind and currents is kind of pushing that northern direction, and this is, like I said, we've got three people stuck in a similar spot in the entrance, as it is just low tide. Tide's super low, the channel is shallow, and that wind pushing north has just drifted them just far enough north where they've all wound up on the sandbar. So you can tell he's barely on as he's able to kind of pull it off, but as he pulls it off, because he's in the water, the wind and currents is blowing it right back on. So the second he stops pulling to try and get back on the boat, he's just sliding right back onto the sandbar. What I would probably do in this situation is try and get that stern out. Obviously, it's easiest to pull bow forward, but if I could get that stern kicked over into the channel, even then, at least if it was pushing against the stern, it would only push the bow onto the sandbar, and I would have the stern in the deeper water where I could lower the motor, get on, and try and back out. But here you can see the struggle is real as he's trying to push it out. But I mean, he's less than knee deep standing in the water. But again, even as he pushed, you can tell the wind and currents is dragging it back on him and forcing him to have to work harder to try and get this off. Now we're fast forwarding about 10 minutes, and as you can tell, we've made a little ground. He's a little further away from the marker than he was when he started, and at least now he's in thigh-deep water versus knee-deep water. The real trick's going to be trying to get around the next piling as he gets close. So he's bringing the boat up. The boat's got a little water underneath it now. I wonder if he's going to use the piling to try and hold the boat out as he gets in. But again, I would have just tried to kick that stern. I mean, if the bow comes in and hits the sandbar, it's typically fine. If I can get the stern and the motor into the water. So now he's going to try and push it around the piling. No, not really. He's just going to get on the boat and see if he can get her fired up and get her moving before he drifts back over. Let me know in the comments how you would have handled this if you would have handled it a little differently than what we're seeing. Now, after a few minutes of fighting with it, he does finally get it fired back up, and they're finally going to be able to work their way into the ramp, and let's see how they handle that one. I mean, this is only part of it getting off the sandbar. Now let's see him get it on the dock. And back to our crew trying to launch the old picnic pontoon. So they're taking an interesting approach as they're trying to launch this one, as Cap's got what appears to be his daughter holding the line, but instead of standing on the dock to walk it down, So when they get it off the trailer, she can kind of walk it back into the water. She's going to stand on the boat ramp. Not the way I probably would have approached this one. Not sure why they're choosing to go this path. So Cap's going to stop a little short. As you can see, the trailer itself starting to turn into the dock.
Picnic table?
Yeah, it's a picnic table. Man, this is just a weird approach on this one. Like, she easily could have just been on the dock. As he started to float it off, she could have just pulled it off with the rope, drug it down the dock a little bit, and tied it up. I mean, we're floating now. Let me know in the comments how much you think this cost to build. So we've got the sunshade out, a little tiki umbrella. It definitely doesn't look like the most stable thing. I feel like they're trying to balance this thing out as they go. I'm wondering how this would handle a 4-foot wake from a yacht blowing by, because once you get out of here, it's not a no wake zone outside of the boat ramp area here. As soon as you get out into that channel, the boats are coming by in the main channel at full speed. But I mean, they look okay, and they're going to make their way out. Fortunately here, Beer Can Island's the sandbar that everybody goes to, and it's literally just across the channel, so they're not going far, less than a mile, just to get over there and probably hang out for the day. And here comes our crew that has now spent almost 45 minutes battling the sandbar. They've got to be a little tired, a little frustrated, as Cap winds up leaning into the throttle to try and get this one lined up. But you can see the wind's blowing today a little bit as he's struggling to get it lined up with the dock. So here we go. He's going to turn it back in. You're heading straight for the pole, bro. So he's heading directly toward this concrete pole that's got a metal barrier around it. You're definitely going to scuff your boat on this if you hit it. And they wind up just going right into it. He left the helm to try and push it off. At the helm, at least he could have reversed back out and tried to line it up again. I think he's had enough for today. He's like, yeah, bro, I'm good. I'm done for this day. Get me on the dock and get me the heck out of here after trying to push this thing off the sandbar for 45 minutes. Now he doesn't want to spend 45 minutes down here. He's going to try and rush it off, get this thing tied up and get it on the trailer, but definitely a little bit of frustration, I think, kicking in at the end of the day. But thanks for watching, crew. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Miami Boat Ramps. If you did, please check out our other content. We have Wavy Boats, who does a bunch of great things down at the inlets. My channel, Broncos Guru, does some great comedy boating videos there as well. And of course, we got Boats vs. Haulover, where man and machine take on Mother Nature down at Haulover Inlet. And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and drop an anchor on the subscribe button here.